Thank you.
The Business Secretary, Vince Cable, has been in Northampton today to see a new way of employing young apprentices. It means that developers will have to take on apprentices if they want to get planning permission. In a moment we'll be hearing from Dr Cable himself, but first this report from Stuart Ratcliffe.
In our region there are now over 80,000 16 to 24-year-olds unemployed. Building sites like this provide the ideal place for apprentices to learn their trade. The downturn has meant the number of building sites has almost halved, but now the number of apprenticeships has started to rise. In 2010 there were 23,000 apprenticeships in Britain, but then last year that figure rose to 68,000. But the real question has always been, is there any work for those apprentices to do? So today Vince Cable came to see what could be a template for the future, to ensure that colleges don't turn out students with all the skills but with no real work experience. Under the Construction Future Scheme, apprenticeships are directly linked to planning applications.
The way it works is that each scheme is allocated as a planning condition a number of hours of training, and then the local authority can decide which trades that training budget, if you like, is applied to on each individual project.
Here these apprentices are all taking advantage of this on-the-job training, which claims to be one of the first of its kind in the country.
Most of my mates don't do anything, just go to college and that, and I'm the only one with a job, so I'm quite lucky really, isn't I?
I'm training on day release at Tresham Corby, just 1 day a week on a Thursday, then spend 4 days of the week here.
I'm just glad I'm making some money.
But for this scheme to work, planning applications need to be submitted. Builders need to have the confidence to build, to provide houses to consumers who want to buy. And whilst the coalition insists market conditions are improving, that elusive upturn for many still seems some way off. Stuart Ratcliffe, BBC Look East.
Well, I spoke to Dr Cable during his visit and started by talking to him about those problems facing the construction industry. It meant there was a massive gap between the number of homes needed in our region and the number actually being built.
No, you're quite right. I mean, the construction industry has been through a terrible time. I mean, there was a massive property bubble that burst. It's badly damaged by the collapse in the banking system, the drying up of mortgages. But, you know, the government is trying to move forward on this. We've got this mortgage indemnity scheme that will help first-time buyers. And construction companies like the one I'm with here are now beginning to build new houses again. No, it's been through a very bad time. There's no doubt about that. But I think we've passed through the worst of it.
Well, last year, with the lowest number of permanent dwellings built in 20 years' worth of statistics. And isn't the government compounding the problem by allowing decisions to be made locally about where houses should go? Because no one really wants a housing development down their street, do they?
We do want decisions made locally, but I mean, as it happens in Northampton, you have a development corporation here which is driving things along, and you know there is growth here. The important thing, of course, is to have not just housing going up, but also jobs as well, and that's why there is a new enterprise zone being launched here. We'll create thousands of new jobs in the years ahead, and it was one of the earliest ones to be approved, and I'll be going to see that shortly.
Now, you've always had a very strong personal vision for the economy. Just a few months ago, you said it was important that we pulled all the levers available to government. Do you believe that all those levers are being pulled?
Yes, we are. I mean, the government has obviously got a major problem that we've inherited of sorting out the public finances. We've got to stick with that. We're not backing off that at all. But there are things that the government can do and is doing to try to get growth. I mean, a key thing is training, apprenticeships, putting a lot more money into that. I'm meeting apprenticeships here at the moment, supporting advanced new technology and innovation centres, trying to get supporting the supply chain, supporting advanced manufacturing. You know, there are things we can do to support the economy, but we can't, that isn't an alternative to getting the public finances in order. It's got to go alongside it.
One of your ideas is to get pension and insurance funds investing in infrastructure projects like housing. That's a very long-term project though, isn't it?
Well, it certainly isn't going to happen overnight, but it is in many ways an absurd situation that you have vast amounts of savings from British people which have been put into pension funds. They're looking for a safe home to get a return for pensioners. There are lots of good projects in Britain could absorb their money, and I think once we get this going, we'll find infrastructure really beginning to improve in Britain. It's got very badly behind other developed countries.
Vince Cable speaking to Susie earlier today. Well, still to come tonight, Alex with the full weekend